Hey everybody, it is Eric, it is Nick. We are back from High Plains Drifter at High Plains Raceway. Now, I say we look pretty stupid. We're not dumb enough to go to a 24-hour race, which this one was. Why would that be a stupid thing to do? Well, 24-hour races are awful. They're miserable for everyone, and we don't understand why anybody likes them. Some weirdos do. They show up, they have a good time, and we don't sleep, and they drag on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Forever. Forever. Forever.
The first 24 hours of Lemon's race ever was in October of 2006. So this year, in all the races surrounding the month of October, we're doing a Lemon Sweet 16th birthday celebration. This was the first in the sequence. We've got stickers, we've got learner permits, and we had penalties. We had people paint their fingernails as 16-year-olds like to do. We had people decorate a 16th birthday cake, and of course someone got saran wrap to the top of a car. That never gets old, even after 16 years.
This being a 24-hour race, there was a little bit of penalty box entropy, and maybe we started getting a little bit lazier as the race went on, and we just started spraying people with this bribe, which was the Scent of Champions Ferrari cologne, which smelled like Ferrari, you know.
Yeah, like a bus and gasoline, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah.
My driving may stink, but I smell like a champion. Scuderia Ferrari for life.
Salty Thunder Racing was there with another great theme. They always bring great themes. This time it was the punk rockers, the Lamones. It was amazing. They stayed in character. They were going around flipping the bird to everybody all weekend. As bad as a 24-hour race could be, this team made it almost tolerable. Hella sweet.
Hella sweet Zitronen Dummkopf. Now, I received an email correcting all of my pronunciation of German, and naturally, I did not read it or listen to it, so screw that. Anyway, what this was a two-car team with a Geo Metro and a Ford Mustang with the classic pink pig Porsche livery. Usually we don't give a crap about classic car liveries or anything like that. These guys brought rideable mechanical pigs, and they had the two most un-Porsche-like cars ever. Hella sweet.
Chalkboard Racing brought their Crown Vic, and not just any Crown Vic, but a final year of production Crown Vic. Why you ruin classic?
Filed under the car is the theme. Filed under the car is the theme. The car is the theme. It is 11% racing. Their Fiat X19.
Stay in Your Lane was there in their Honda Civic. Now, most importantly about this Honda Civic, they've got a guy on their team who works for Johnny Lightning, and he's the guy behind the series of Johnny Lightning die-cast Lemons toys. The first one, of course, is their Honda Civic, which is now available online. But stay tuned to all of our social media channels for the next few in the series.
Yeah, one of 12,690 right here. A little bit hella sweet, a little bit butt terrible, Orange Theory and their BMW 5 Series. Now, they took the BMW engine out of this and put a small block Chevy V8 in it, as you do. Now, obviously, this was going to dominate, not because of the V8 or anything like that, but because they spent a whole bunch of time cleaning it, including the tires.
ArmorAll is your key to success. We're gonna dominate!
Hella sweet, we had a rookie team called the Drop Bear Murphys. A little explanation is required. Drop bear is Australian slang for a koala, because I guess that's what they do. They just drop out of trees down there. And the Dropkick Murphys. Now, if you're thinking of the rock band of the Dropkick Murphys, their theme was actually based on the old-timey wrestler Dropkick Murphy, for whom the band is named. So their theme was the wrestler, the band, and a lady in the koala outfit.
Our friend Judge Phil was out at the race just hanging out, and he sent us these notes about the gun barrel Cobras and their Volvo 940. These guys swapped a Lexus LS400 1UZFE V8, no shit, into their Volvo 940, added supercharger and triple random carb intake a while back. For this race, they ditched the blower and fabricated an intake to use 4 two-throat throttle bodies from the mid-1980s Ford trucks with 300 cubic inch straight sixes. This made more power than the blower/carb rig. They also run the Starlet with the Grand Vitara V6 swap, you know that one. And they bought a complete driving Grand Vitara for scrap value as a parts donor, which they used to flat tow the Starlet to the track. Hella sweet.
27 Club Racing was there. This team has been around for a while. Their theme, of course, is all of the famous rock stars who have died at the age of 27. It's got all of these hand-painted faces on it that are super accurate, and it's impossible to mix up who is who.
A sweet old lady in Texas walked up and said, is that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Which I of course said, yes ma'am, it is. I was like, we're Christian racers, happy to be here in Texas. And so this happens to also be Kurt Cobain, but many of us conflate the two.
Jesus Christ came up a lot from Blue Falcon Racing, who you might remember used to have a Geo Metro, and they brought a new car this time. And to go with their theme, it probably should have been a Nissan Rogue, but instead it was a Mercedes W201, $500 my ass. And it was kind of the suburban angry mom want to talk to the manager trope. Just watch.
Do you not know who I am?
You're too close to me. Hey, excuse me. No photographs, please. Put the camera away. I want to talk to your manager.
They're coming.
Excuse me.
Too close. Stay out of my face. Did you ask
You
me?
know who I am, and you should have listened to her.
The cops are on their way. Dare you?
She's on the phone with the police right now.
Lots of Laps brought their 1999 Volkswagen Cabriolet that had an excellent and very basic theme, 1999 memorabilia. It was deemed by Judgmental to be officially hella sweet, which it was. Hey Eric, what were you doing in 1999?
I was a freshman in high school, and I was... nobody I went to high school with is watching this, so I was totally like making out with girls and driving sweet cars and yeah, all that stuff. What about you, Nick? What were you doing in 1999?
What's up, ladies? Yo, Gina, you want to dance?
I'm allergic.
Moving on to our trophy winners, our Class C winner was Smokin' Jackalope in their Volkswagen Rabbit Diesel. Maybe it was a Golf. Doesn't really matter. These guys are apparently diesel Volkswagen experts. They had run the yellow Volkswagen Caddy that crushed Class C years ago, and they traded that in for a newer, slightly lighter, not any faster model. Still won Class C. Well done, guys.
Team Right Away won Class B in their inexplicably Dodge Hellcat themed Honda Civic.
Overall winners were Hella Shitty Racing in their BMW, which is worth talking about for the simple fact that the team that spent the most time having good headlights that don't blind people won the race. There's probably a lesson in there somewhere. I don't know what it is though.
Heroic Fix went to the Balkan Express Honda Civic. Now this isn't just any Honda Civic, this is Judge Phil's old Honda Civic. Little background on this car. Judge Phil had this for years and years. It had a stock 1.5 D series. It ran fine. Then some Lemons guy said, hey, I've got an Integra GSR motor that I'll give you for that Honda. Phil says, okay, cool. You'll never guess what happened next. Phil partially swapped it. The car never ran again while he had it. He eventually moved it on to a Lemons team. This is years ago. We thought we would never see this car ever again. At this race, it shows up with the Integra GSR motor running and racing, and it immediately blew up. Of course. So this team, they didn't want to swap another motor. They did the old JB weld the piece of license plate into the hole in the block so we can finish one lap technique, which it did. That was heroic. It was great to see this car again. Sort of.
I Got Screwed went to Are You Saying Something's Wrong With My Gear and their Jaguar XJS. Long story, this car we are pretty sure raced with Chris Overzet and Pit Crew Revenge out on the West Coast, Chris was smart enough to throw away the giant Jaguar V12 and put a small block Chevy V8 in it, which, actually that's probably an even trade, but it doesn't really matter. He sold the car after a couple races. It ended up racing in the Midwest in some club races somehow, before I would guess the team realized that it was never going to compete with all of the fully race-prepped Triumph TR6s. Now, that second or third owner, or whoever it was, they sold it to these poor bastards in Colorado. They showed up, they expected it to work, they expected it to be easy to drive, and the joke was on them all weekend. They won I Got Screwed, it ran like crap, their driving was worse when it ran, and they kind of finished in the bottom quarter with a car that should have done better.
The Yokohama Road Mangler Cup, which is the drawing for the free set of Yokohama tires if you're racing on Yokohama tires, went to the Racing Baguettes in their Hyundai Genesis Coupe, aka the poor man's Infiniti Coupe, aka the homeless man's Lexus Coupe. Now, Judge Aaron points out that this particular Hyundai Genesis Coupe is getting better and better, which means it's halfway to being as good as a 2004 Infiniti G35 Coupe, which means in the year 3000, it might be as good as a Lexus Coupe.
Judge's choice went to Marshmallow Racing and their Pontiac Le Mans / Asuna / Daewoo / all of the things. Now, this car has won Index of Affluency many years ago with Tom Webb. It has moved on to a new owner who has taken it for, another 10 races or so, with the original engine still in it. 350,000 miles when it was converted to a Lemons car. They have just kept running it, perpetually under the radar, always clean, awesome people. Glad to give them the judge's choice.
Organizer's choice went to a rookie team, Mistakes Were Made Racing. Now, they're from Centerville, Utah, and I've been told that that is nowhere near the center of Utah, so I think that kind of sets the table for the weirdos that came with this car. What was the car, you ask? Well, it was a 1974 Ford Capri, which is a fine Lemons choice. It turned 268 laps. Is that a lot for 24 hours? For a 74 Capri, I'm gonna guess that it is. The car was excellent. It got a lot of attention in the paddock from its fellow racers. Team was great. Looking forward to seeing this car in the future.
The eBay Motors Halloween Meets Gasoline trophy is our trophy for the team with the best theme. Comes with $1,000. That's hella sweet. And this weekend, it was a grueling marathon of racing, and the team that entertained us constantly and entertained everybody the entire weekend was Savage Orchid Racing with their Ford Escort ZX2. Don't forget the ZX2. Now, their theme was Ferrari F1. And if you don't know much about F1, basically just imagine the average rookie Lemons team with a Camaro trying to operate a Formula One program.
Stay out. Multifunction tire, position 5. Multifunction tire, position 5.
The whole team was dressed as Mattia Benato, the team principal who is unmistakable and in charge of Scuderia Ferrari F1. That was great, and the whole time they argued like Italians, they wrenched like Italians, which is to say used a lot of hammers, they drove like Italians, and they just generally behaved like Italians, and they sealed the deal by going to Judge Phil's old Civic when it was dead and sprinkling it with holy water, except the holy water was grated Parmesan. Oh, just so perfect. Very well done, Savage Orchid.
The Index of Effluency went to Why Would You Do That Racing in their Chevy Chevette. This is a Chevette that has a swapped-in Volvo motor that's a Frankenstein of two different Volvo motors and a giant turbo on it. This car keeps getting better and better in a way that we like, which is to say it keeps getting more and more stupid. It now has a homemade push-to-pass button, just like an Indy car, that this thing, depending on who you ask, sends the boost to a level that creates up to 17,000 horsepower, and it is amazing, and it's always on the ragged edge of exploding, and we love it. IOE.
And that brings us to Lemons in a Nutshell.
be much better. I apologize for everyone for being a terrible driver.
Ah, yes. The glamorous, bribing life of a Lemons judge. It's important to know that this is a team that can race a Fiero for 24 hours, but they can bother to learn 3 chords to play one
Look, look, it's the Tassie Devil.
Yeah, you're a good little killer, aren't you? Ah!